Hello guys, and welcome back to the 3ds Max asset creation series. And in this video I just want to briefly go over introducing you to the material editor and how you can create basic materials for your objects you made in 3ds Max. And in the next video I'm going to go over UVing, and then after that I might go into texturing in Photoshop. Just depends how much time I have. So let's go ahead and show you what the material editor is. So to get to that, you just press this button over here, the little round icon. You can see I've already got two materials there, so I'm just going to delete those already. Not too sure why those was there, but over here you can see we've got maybe 5 key areas. We've got our different types of maps, materials, then we've got our view frame, or whatever you want to call it. We've got our navigator, and then we've got our material parameter editor. So let's start off with the material parameter editor. This is where we can change around all the different values on your materials. You can change stuff like specularity, glossiness, self-illumination. Well, that's the stuff that I'm going to cover in this video anyway, that you really need to know if you're just going to be making stuff in 3ds Max. And then we've got our materials. This is where we have all the different types of material types. We're not going to be working with any apart from standard just now, as that's pretty much all you're going to need to worry about just now. We've got our maps. We are going to use a map when we go into UVing a little bit. We're going to be using a checker map just so we can see that it's nice and fluent and it all looks nice. Then we've got our view frame. This is something like the UDK material editor, where we have nodes showing all the different types of materials, stuff we can change on it. So let's go ahead and drag in a standard material. And you can see over here we've got a bunch of settings we can play around with, and we've got our preview if we just double click on it, and that's what the material is going to look like when you put it into 3ds Max. So applying our material is really easy. All we've got to do is just press the button up here, assign material to selection, and you can see it's gone grey just like in this picture here. So, but maybe we might want to play around with some different colours and stuff like that. So let's double click on that, and you can see over here in our material parameter area we've got a bunch of settings that have come to light. You can see first of all we've got our different types of material. You can see we've got like anti-sotropic. I'm not going to bother trying to pronounce all of these, but but the only ones you're going to be worrying about really is blin, metal, and fong. I think that's pronounced wrong. No pun intended there, just in case some of the less mature people comment, if you get what I mean. So let's just go ahead and go to fong, and you can see a bunch of different settings have changed up for us. So the first setting I'm going to be playing around with is the diffuse. So the diffuse is the main color of pretty much everything on your material, and you can see here that it's gone blue. So let's just go ahead and change it to a nice green. Green's always nice, depends how you use it, but green's generally a nice color. So let's go ahead and press OK on that, and you can see it's automatically applied to our material as we were changing it around. Just so we can have a nice little workflow together, and we don't have to keep applying it every time we want to change it. But that does have its downsides. So what I mean by that is, whenever you want to have a different material on an object, you're going to have to make a completely new material. So enough of that now. I'll go into that a little bit more towards the end of the tutorial. So we've got our specular level, glossiness, and soften over here. We won't worry about soften, but we've got our specular level just to make it look nice and shiny. So any game devs will know what specular does. It's like the amount of light that goes onto the object. So let's go ahead and change this to something like 50, and you can see we've got that nice sort of light on there. I'm going to change it up to 100. There we go. Now you can really see the light on there, and it's reacting pretty nice. But maybe we don't just want light on it, because maybe we want to play around with it. Something like a cube ball, pool ball. You know how it's all nice and glossy, or like you get I don't know, maybe forks, spoons, stuff like that. It's going to be nice and shiny. So we can change around our glossiness. So it's something like 50, and you can see it's nice and shiny. And I can make it like a cube ball, for example, if I just change it to black, and it looks really nice. So you might just want to play around with some of these different values just so you know what they do, how they react to your lighting. So Now the last one I want to cover is basic self-illumination. So I can turn that on and I can make the object illuminate. You can see illuminated colors look really nice. It's not going to come out in CryEngine or UDK though, so bear that in mind. So let's just say I want to make it blue and we've got a default screen. You can see it's going to come out in like a light blue and you can see the illumination really nicely, but I wouldn't really play around with illumination too much, so let's just turn that off for now. Okay, so under here we've got maps, and we've got all different types of maps we can use. We can use like bump map, reflection, opacity, self-illumination, glossiness, specular, diffuse. So the only one we're really going to need to worry about for now is diffuse color map. So what this does is it's basically the main color for pretty much everything. I've already said that in this tutorial, but just so you know, you can have like bitmap images or anything like that, so you can import your own ones if you've already UV'd out your if you've already UV layout, done a UV layout for your object that you've made. You can then import it back in like a bitmap or whatever you want to do. So whenever I'm UVing, I tend to use a checker map, just so we can see that it's all lined up properly, and it's going to look nice once I put the material on there from Photoshop back into 3ds Max. But I'm not really going to worry about that anymore. So for now, that's about all I really wanted to teach you in this tutorial. Thanks for watching. Comment, like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.